Some would say that this draft is very top heavy with quarterbacks, but I would argue at the number 4 position where the Atlanta Falcons start, it becomes an interesting draft because now we have pass catchers coming into the deal. Today at SOS Discussion, we have a special man in Mr. Jesse Holley joining us today. But today we're talking about what are our best pass catchers in the league for this year's draft. I'm going to start with Mia.
So for this one, I'm going to have to roll with Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith. I think Smith has strong hands. I feel he's a small guy who's underestimated because of his size, but he makes big plays, especially when it counts. And so I'm not counting him out on that. I think this is a pretty close topic to even be discussing, but I think Smith checks out on all the boxes. You go and look at the LSU game where he had the one-handed touchdown grab versus LSU. You have the toe tap drag touchdown in the back of the end zone versus Texas A&M. He played in tight coverage versus Georgia, and he still had a pretty good game versus Georgia. So open field, tight coverage, Smith can get it done. Ball's going high, ball's going low, he's going to get the ball. And so I don't think that's anything to look past, and I think he has a pair of the strongest hands that we'll see in this draft.
Yeah, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at Kyle Pitts versus Jamar Chase. Those are the two people that came down to me. And when I was looking at it, I thought about AJ Terrell. I thought about Cameron Dantzler. I thought about Noah Imbenogany. I thought about CJ Henderson. These are the people that I was thinking about because those are the players who are playing in the league right now. And if you go look at Jamar Chase's highlight tape from his 2019 season, those are the names that you are going to see him beating on a constant basis. But let's get past just the fact that he did against high-level competition. Let's talk about the traits that he has. He has speed. And I don't just mean because I looked at the pro day. Let's say that's not valid because people are questioning that. Let's throw it out. Even though it's a 4.38, let's throw it out of there. Let's talk about the speed that I see on the field. I'm talking about a play against Vanderbilt when he has a slant and the safety has the angle on him and he eviscerates the angle and takes it to the house. So let's talk about the fact he has a great jump skip off of the line and explodes past the cornerbacks. And he's not just fast, he's smart with his speed. So when he gets on top of the corner, he knows how to stack so that they don't recover well. Let's get to his physicality off the line. Another play to highlight, Trayvon Diggs, one of the names I didn't mention, but he's also an NFL corner. Plays for the Dallas Cowboys right now. He tried to get really physical with him because everything else wasn't working that game. Threw him off and won that rep. So let's get to the last three, which I think all go together and are his best qualities. You have his agility, his body control in the air, and you also have his ability to turn 50-50 balls into 70-30 balls. So with his agility, he beats corners, but sometimes either Joe's throwing a back shoulder pass or the ball isn't all the way there and he has the ability to stop on a dime and jump completely vertical in one motion, and that's his body control in the air. While the defender is still either running to catch up or can't quite jump as quick as him, and that's how he turns these 50-50 balls into 70-30 balls. So Kyle Pitts, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, they're all great guys, but if you're asking me who I have, is going to be Jamar Chase.
And you can't go wrong with either one of those. Devontae Smith, the thing I love about as a pass catcher myself, when you watch a guy like Devontae Smith, you see a lot of guys fight the football, right? The catch looks like it's a struggle. Devontae looked like the ball is just a magnet for his hand. It's one of those things where he's just easing the ball into the catch. It's never a struggle. It always looks that way. Same thing with Jamar Chase. But the guy that I have to go with is the 6'5" who has the longest wingspan in the NFL Combine in the last 20 years is Kyle Pitts. And the reason being is he's a matchup nightmare. He's the kind of person that will make he will dictate what a defense is able to do. Put a linebacker on him, child, please. A bigger safety, can't stay with him. Cornerback, too little, bro. So Kyle Pitts, his range, you can't miss with him. That's the greatest thing about when a quarterback is looking to throw a pass, I can throw it anywhere. I don't have to just always throw it back shoulder. I don't always have to be on point. I have room for error. I can throw it a little bit higher than when a defender can jump, but because Kyle is 6'5", and he has you add the arm reach onto it, he's towering over DBs. He's towering over safeties. His range is so wide, it makes it almost impossible to cover him because even when you're in tight coverage, he's open. Even when you're right in his chest, he's open. He has big hands. He's strong. He's physical. Oh, by the way, he may not run a 4.8, but at 245, 50 pounds, and he runs a 4.4, he's running by jokers as well. So for me, having a guy who can take down the middle of the field, corner routes, post routes, out routes, option routes, there's nothing you can do with him. And that makes for me, this is just me, but that makes for me the best pass catcher in the draft.
Yeah, so definitely I think when you look at all of those four, if you're talking about Waddle, Smith, Pitts, and Chase, they all look to have promising futures in the NFL. But one of the major traits that you all mentioned for your picks was speed. So how about we go with the fastest person of all four, and that's Jalen Waddle. I think that a lot of people have been sleeping on him because of his injury last year and then the rise in what Devontae Smith was able to do winning the Heisman. But when you look at Jalen Waddle, he kind of has, I mean, when you look at it, he was projected to run a 4.2 in the 40. And he has that type of speed, not only down the field, but also that short area quickness where he really can take any play. Anytime he gets the ball in his hands, he can take it to the house. A lot of scouts have kind of compared his impact on the field to possibly what a Tyreek Hill can do. And so I think when you look at Jalen Waddle and his ability to break the game open from anywhere on the field, that speed, long speed, short speed, and also just a route runner. I think he's a polished route runner, a polished receiver. He's not just one of those guys that'll run by you. He can attack you in the middle of the field, downfield, like I said, behind the line of scrimmage, on bubble screens and different things. And when you look at kind of what the NFL is doing now, moving more to a spread type of college game, he's the perfect type of player where you just want to get the ball in his hands and let him make plays. So I think Chase will be great. Obviously, Devontae Smith, and you talked about Kyle Pitts kind of being that generational talent. You know, we haven't seen a tight end prospect like him in years, but I think that Jalen Waddle, you know, he's been slept on because of the injury last year. I think he really has the potential, like I said, to have a Tyreek Hill type impact on the field and bust any game open because he's just a big play waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think you guys all, just real quick, I think you guys all brought up great points when looking at it, whether it's Smith's soft hands, whether it's Pitt's natural matchup nightmare, or it's Waddle's speed that's going to break everything open. And I look at Chase, he doesn't have that one thing. I think he's more of a complete total package, not a jack of all trades, because that often insinuates that maybe they're not great at anything, but he's great at a lot. For me, let's specifically look at Pitts, which I said it came down to. And Jesse brought up a great point about the matchup nightmare. For me, it's not manufactured with Chase. You have him as your X receiver right there on the line, and you have people who are built to shut down your number one receiver. You ain't really got nobody built to shut down Pitts, but you have people who are made to shut down your number one corner. And we praise them talking about this guy can shadow the best receiver in the game. But I want to talk about the receiver who, when he going against that type of corner, you still feel comfortable putting it up against him. And that's what I think Jamar Chase is. You may have the guy meant to erase him, but you're not going to stop me from trying to get the ball to my number one. And that's something that I think Chase is over maybe a Smith or a Waddle.
And I think something that's interesting about every person y'all brought up was they brought something different to the table. And the thing for me is with all of these players is Pitts, my best pass catcher, is that he has things you just can't teach. But regardless of that, one question I want to ask y'all is when it comes to this season coming up, who's going to have the greatest impact? I know it kind of depends on which team that goes to, so be it. But if we had to go with NFL ready, who is your number one pass catcher for next year? Maybe it changes.
I'm Kyle Pitts.
Okay, straight up.
I mean, what he's able to do, I had an opportunity to play with the guy, and God rest his soul, but Aaron Hernandez. I was in New England for a cup of coffee, and to watch Aaron Hernandez, what he did in practice, 6'3", 240 pounds, could run. I mean, I would see him run with Dante Stallworth, and to see these two guys run and racing, and he be neck and neck with Dante in a 40, and then I see him get out on the field and do what he does as a tight end. He's Kyle Pitts is plug and play. I get it. Chase, when you go play the X receiver, easily can be erased with double coverage when you're playing the X receiver, because you can't motion, they can't get you off the ball, they can shut you out when you're being an X receiver. I think Waddle and Smith, both smaller guys, will play some of the slot. Again, you can still find guys that can come in and cover him at the corner position. When you put Kyle Pitts on the field, you can line him up inside, outside. You can motion him. He can be inline. He can be in the backfield. His position versatility makes him so difficult to game plan for. So it's for the like Jamar Chase. You know, if he's going to be the X receiver, you know he's going to line up on the ball at least 50 to 60 to 70% of the time. Devontae Smith, Waddle, you can move the guys around, but they're slight in their ability with size. With Kyle Pitts, there is nowhere that you can't play him. Inline, outline, backfield. I mean, anywhere. And the matchups become impossible because of his size, because of his speed, because of his length. It makes it almost impossible to and if he gets with a creative team, if he gets with someone who has the imagination of how to move him around and how to use him in different aspects. One of the reasons why Travis Kelce gets what he gets, yes, it's because of Tyreek Hill and guys like that and Patrick Mahomes, but the creativity in which Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy use him, that's going to be key for all of these guys if they can get with the system. But if they got with the plainest of Janes of systems, if they got with the Jason Garrett of offensive coordinators in the league, if they got with the corniest dude, Kyle Pitts, man for man, will eat anyone up, and that's just fact.
Man, I want to go with Pitts, and he brought a compelling case. Like, how do you fight that? He is a matchup nightmare that you feel like, how do you get somebody who can game plan? But for me, the only reason I don't say him is because I fear he may go somewhere where he isn't utilized the best. You look at a guy like Isaiah Simmons last year. Sometimes when you can do so much, people just don't know what to do. And sometimes they get a little bit lost and they don't utilize you the right way. And I have a fear that could happen to Kyle Pitts, even though he can work in every, whether it's in line or that's in the slot, or even out wide for a couple of snaps. But I think I'm going to stick with my guy, Jamar Chase. I'm not going to rehash everything I had said, but, you know, you guys been here this long. Y'all know why I'm such a fan of him, and that's the reason why I think he'll have an immediate impact in year one.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Devontae Smith on this one. I think Jesse does bring up good points about Kyle Pitts, though. I think with Devontae, though, his route running and his ability to separate and still come away with some crazy catches, I think that does it all for him.
Yeah, really quick, I was going to say, even though Waddle is my pick, probably for next year, if you're talking about right away, I would say Devontae Smith. Just his route running and the feel for the game, his ability to get open, man or zone, I think that would be great for a quarterback, young or old. But I also want to say is that we talked about the pass catchers at the top of the draft, but there's also a lot of pass catchers with first-round talent. You think of Kadarius Toney from Florida, Rashad Bateman from Minnesota, Elijah Moore from Ole Miss, or Rondale Moore from Purdue. So I think this is a really good draft for pass catchers, not just necessarily the top four, but it's a long list of pass catchers that can make an impact in the NFL for years to come.
Definitely going to be interesting to see how these guys play out in year one. It's definitely going to depend on what kind of quarterback and what kind of system they fall into. So y'all tell us in the comment section what you think is the best pass catcher in this year's draft and who is going to have the best season. We'll see y'all next time at SOS Discussion.